Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Together Games. Today we're going to be reviewing a cool dice rolling game called King of Tokyo for 2 to 6 players. Let's see how it plays and get to the review. Hey, I'm Jake.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm David, and you're watching Board Together Games. Our channel is designed to kind of showcase board games that are geared towards families with children and for people who are new to the board gaming hobby. And we do that by doing video reviews of games just like this one. And this is called King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo is a dice rolling game. There's a lot of things that are going on the table here, but for all intents and purposes, this is a really simple dice rolling game, and that is the main mechanic here. So this game was designed by Richard Garfield, and some of you may find that name familiar. He was a little-known person who was behind a very unpopular game known as Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I know. So, yes, he has done many other things other than Magic the Gathering. This is one of them. This is arguably his second most popular game release, and it is for 2 to 6 players, right? 2 to 6 players. A second edition of it has just been released here in the, last 6 months or so?
Yeah.
Something like that?
5 or 6.
We have the original version. Wasn't the first printing or anything, but it was one of the earlier releases of the game. And it hasn't changed a whole lot, mainly artwork, but it's really, really excellent. And we're going to show you now how to set this thing up.
The way to set up King of Tokyo is simple. You get your Tokyo board, you get your dice, you get the energy, you get the tokens, you shuffle the cards and deal out 3. Everyone gets to pick their own kaiju monster. You set the associated board to 0 victory points and 10 hearts. And once you do that, you can start to play.
Yeah, just choose a start player any way you want and begin the game. So again, King of Tokyo is a dice rolling game. And on your turn, the main thing that you're going to do is roll these dice. There are 6 dice. There are 2 different colored dice, but those come into play during special situations throughout the course of the game. Typically, you're just going to be rolling these 6. And you roll these dice Yahtzee style. So if you've ever played Yahtzee, you kind of understand where we're going with this. If you've never played Yahtzee, then what is the world coming to? So anyway, on your turn, you roll the dice, and you look at what you have gotten as far as results, and then you can choose to re-roll any of these dice 2 more times on your turn. So I could, for example, take these 2 dice and re-roll them, and after re-rolling those, I might decide, oh, you know what, I want to re-roll this one and these 2, and roll a 3rd time, and then whatever I've got, and I will resolve those in whatever the case may be. So, Ryan, why don't you tell us what these different die faces are, what they do?
So, when you roll a 1, you have to have 3 1s to get 1 point. Same thing for the 2s and the 3s.
Right, so if you have 3 2s, you get 2 points. You have 3 3s, you get 3 points, right? And that's what this victory point track is for right here, this little scroll wheel. As Jake mentioned, you start at 0, and as you get these points, you will increase this wheel to whatever your score happens to be at that given time. So what happens, Ryan, if you end up rolling, let's say, 4 3s?
Well, you get the 3 3s would be 3 points.
Right.
And any other 3s would be an extra point.
Yeah, an additional point. That's cool. Yeah, and they all work that way. So 4 1s would be 2 points. So you get 1 point for the initial 3, and then that 4th one is another point on top of that. That's how that mechanic works. And it keeps going up from there. If you have 6 1s, that's 6 points, right? No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 points. Math! All right, so that's 3 of the faces, the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s. What do the other faces do?
The attack means...
Yeah, that's the claw.
When, at the beginning of the game, everyone is out of Tokyo.
Right. Nobody starts on the Tokyo board. They're all on the perimeter trying to fight for control of Tokyo. Yeah.
And at the beginning of the game, this means you're going into Tokyo.
Right. If any of those show up on your turn at the end of your roll, you are forced to move your monster into Tokyo. So that's what the attack does. And once you're there, when you roll attack, or if somebody else is in Tokyo and you roll attack symbols when you're outside of Tokyo, that's when damage occurs one way or the other. If you're in Tokyo, damage is dealt to every other player at the table. If you're outside of Tokyo, you do damage to the monster in Tokyo. Another interesting thing about Tokyo is if you are in Tokyo City and someone rolls the attack symbols and damages you for however many claw symbols that they end up rolling, you have to take the damage, typically, unless a card tells you otherwise. But then you have an option of either staying in Tokyo or abandoning Tokyo. And if you do that, then the player who attacked you is forced to move their monster into Tokyo. So that is really kind of an interesting way to navigate the game. And anytime you enter Tokyo, you do get a single victory point. If you then stay in Tokyo for an entire round of play, it comes all the way back around to you and everybody else has taken a turn. At the beginning of your turn, you get 2 more victory points, which is really cool. And as we said at the beginning, you also cannot, if you roll hearts, you cannot resolve those and heal damage while you are in Tokyo. Another interesting thing is with 5 and 6 players, there's a second spot on this board called Tokyo Bay. So there is, for all intents and purposes, 2 places for 2 monsters to be inhabiting Tokyo at any given time and wreaking havoc to the city. Okay, what else do we have?
We have the heart. That just simply means heal your life.
Yeah, so on your heart wheel here, as you are dealt damage, this is going to dial down to ultimately 0, and if you ever get to 0, you're eliminated from the game. But if you roll hearts, you can get those life points back. Cool, so that's what the hearts do. Oh, and if you're in Tokyo, you roll hearts, you cannot use them, you cannot heal.
And then the last one is energy. Mm-hmm. Which, these energy cubes.
Yeah, the green cubes here.
Mm-hmm. Every energy you roll, you get an energy cube.
Mm-hmm.
And why that's important is you can buy these cards, which give you special abilities.
Right. And some of those cards you can keep for the entire game. It's an ongoing ability. Some of them you use it once and you discard it. But there's some really great abilities there that you can get with those cards. So there are a lot of different strategies you can take with this game. One is attack, 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 which is definitely a valid strategy. Another one is just go for victory points because, we'll talk about that in just a second. Another one is to get just hoard energy cubes and just buy cards like crazy to have a lot of really, really powerful special abilities. So let's talk about the endgame.
The game can end in one of 2 ways. Either all of your opponents have been eliminated, or you have 20 victory points before anyone else has.
Right. So if everybody else, their health has been taken all the way down to 0, and you're the last one with life, or as soon as somebody hits 20 victory points, either by rolling them on the dice, combination of rolling them on the dice, getting them for and staying in Tokyo, entering Tokyo, and sometimes cards will give you victory points. So yeah, that's the 2 ways that you can win.
What I like about King of Tokyo is that I get to purchase, heal, and attack people. I just like to do that in general. In board games, I like to purchase things, attack people, and heal my damage.
So combat style stuff.
Yes.
But not like complicated, right?
No, I'm not super thinky, complicated board game kind of person.
Yeah. And what strategy do you always take?
Energy.
Yeah. It works sometimes it does not. Ryan, what do you like about King of Tokyo? Anything in particular?
It's pretty much the look of the dice.
Yeah. Dice rolling can really be one of those things that's super fun or super not fun, depending on how you're rolling. But in this game, no matter what you roll, typically there's something that you can use, though, right? You don't really get stuck most turns. What I like is that it's just the artwork is really cool. The theme here is just unique. There's a couple other games that are similar in feel or similar in theme, but this game kind of brings it all together in a really, really nice package that is easy to teach and easy to learn, and it's just great. So what's your favorite strategy in the game, Ryan?
I don't really have a strategy.
Just kind of whatever the dice throw your way kind of thing? Yeah, that's common, and that's kind of how I play the game too. I kind of stay away from energy, although some of the powers you can get with the cards are really amazing. But yeah, I tend to be more of a hang back and let everybody else fight it out, and then jump in for the kill late in the game, or victory points. I do tend to go for victory points quite a bit. And the other thing that is kind of a common theme in board game circles and communities is everybody's got their favorite King of Tokyo character. And what is yours, Jake?
Mine is usually Gigazor.
Gigazor, yeah. Legally distinct and separate from something else. Ryan, what's your favorite character?
Mecha Dragon.
Mecha Dragon, yeah. And I usually get the leftovers. I do play the King a lot, but I feel like the King is kind of, I don't know, a bit cliche. So I do play Cyber Bunny because it's funny, right?
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. Something of note with this game compared to the new edition is that a couple of the characters have changed. We will throw some pictures on the screen to show you those. The one I remember off the top of my head is Space Penguin. That is not available in this original printing that we have, but is available in the new one. But again, the artwork there, it's changed a little bit, but it's still got the same kind of a feel to it. So if you do decide to pick this up, I don't think you're going to go wrong with either edition, regardless of which one that you find. So yeah, I like the fact that it's just a good filler game. It's a good gateway game, something to bring people in who have not necessarily played a lot of games before. Something that will be kind of familiar with the Yahtzee dice rolling mechanism, and who doesn't love throwing some dice, right?
Yeah.
Something else cool about this game is there have been a couple of expansions, and we have 2 of them. I think, is that the only 2 that are available?
I think so.
Is the Power Up expansion and the Halloween expansion. We may cover those in a later video. What I will say is that the Power Up expansion introduces a new character, Panda Kai, I think it is a really cool panda. And it introduces some power or ability cards that are specific to the character that you choose, which is kind of cool. And the Halloween expansion has 2 characters, different colored dice, and something else that I can't remember. But like I said, we may cover that in a separate video later on.
What I don't like about King of Tokyo is, well, a good thing about it is that the dice are really big, but for small hands, they can sometimes drop.
Right. Yeah, that can be kind of a problem. Ryan's obviously still growing, so his smaller hands have a tough time getting around 6 of these dice. And if he ends up getting the card that lets him roll extra dice, it's a little problematic. But that's a nitpick, right? That's not a terrible thing. It's just a minor quibble. Jacob, what do you think?
The only things that I don't like is that 2 players doesn't work as well that I'd like to, because sometimes you only have one other friend or person with you, and you want to play King of Tokyo. It's, in my opinion, it's not as fun with 2 people. And the one other thing is these different tokens. I haven't gotten to use these tokens very often in King of Tokyo. That's just something that I've noticed.
Yeah, those get used when certain cards show up out of the deck. And as you can see, I mean, there's a ton of cards here. So if your shuffle doesn't bring any of the cards that utilize these tokens to the surface, then yeah, you can go game after game after game and never get a chance to use those. But you do like the fact that it plays to 6, right?
Yes, that's something that I really like about King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
I like playing with a lot of people.
I like that too. I like that it plays 6 people. And it's a quick enough game that even with 6, it's not going to take forever to play. My quibble with this game is, to me, it's another one of those that if I play it a lot, it has the tendency of possibly getting burnout.
Good point.
So unless you're finding ways to mix the game up, which is why I think the expansions are great. And if you get into this game and you enjoy it, I think at some point those are almost essential to have with this game. So yeah, it kind of gets samey after a little while, and that's kind of a bummer, but as long as I'm not playing it really, really often, I always enjoy when this game comes out because, again, dice chucking, can't beat it. I will give King of Tokyo a 9 out of 10 for a rating. It is a really excellent game that, again, for all the reasons that we've already said, the player count, the fact that it can be played by pretty much anyone. It's enjoyable. It has familiar mechanics. It adds enough new stuff that isn't going to throw new gamers off. It's great for families. It's a beautiful production. Everything about this game is excellent. The artwork, the quality. I mean, we've had this game for a while, and it's held up really, really well for being played, not just here, but at parties with other kids. Just phenomenal. So yeah, 9 out of 10.
My rating for King of Tokyo is 9.5, and the only reason why it's not a perfect 10 is because the other 0.5 is what I mentioned before. I can't use the tokens very often.
Right. Ryan?
Well, mine is a 9, and for all the reasons we've just mentioned, everything is good.
Yeah. When it's just good, it's just good.
Yes.
And as far as family friendliness for this game, I'm going to say an 8.5 out of 10. All of the artwork and things in this game are quite cartoony and very light, but there are some cards where the scenes depicted they tend to lean on the violent side for some people, and it surely is an opinion type of thing. Some people will see it differently than others, but for that reason, I would put this as an 8.5 out of 10. But otherwise, as far as being able to use it in a family environment, I think it's wonderful. And that wraps it up, everybody, for King of Tokyo, yet another game that we cannot recommend enough. It really is great. And I'm going to leave a link in the description below for some place where you can go and pick this game up and check it out for yourself. We definitely recommend that you do that. And also, if you like what we're doing, take a minute, please, to like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We would very much appreciate it if you did so. And also, I'm going to leave a link in the description for Gamer Thredz. I am wearing one of Gamer Thredz shirts right now. Very appropriate. You can't heart in Tokyo. Hope you can see that well. And again, leaving the link in the description, so click on that, go check them out. Those shirts are all gamery, nerdy, awesome. I love them, and I think you will too, so we would appreciate that. And remember, if you guys are bored together,
Board together.
Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Guess what? I got stabbed in the elbow yesterday. What does that elbow?
That was really good.
Do you just not see anything?
Do you run into walls and things?
Sorry.
Good night, Loretta. You start with death. That was good.
Yes.